This information is some of the most interesting stuff that got scrapped from Jurassic World Rebirth. What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I wanted to talk about a recent quote that came from Gareth Edwards, the director of the movie, about what he had to say about the original ideas that he had in store for the film. Which, get this, would have featured a Tyrannosaurus Rex that was extremely old and created before InGen had sort of perfected the dinosaur designs that we saw in the original Jurassic Park. This long-abandoned reject on the island was supposed to look like the outdated T-Rex designs we saw in classic dinosaur movies, and something that I think is really fun to talk about. So speaking on the film, Gareth had this to say about the Tyrannosaur design. Well, the place I tried to pull everything towards was the way people thought T-Rexes looked before we knew better. So we looked at some of the designs in Ray Harryhausen's films, like the Valley of Gwangi. Now, in the finished version of the movie, the filmmakers decided not to make the T-Rex look like this at all, and instead totally redesigned the Jurassic Park animal to be bulkier and stronger looking, and ultimately gave us what many consider to be one of the best looking Tyrannosaur designs outside of the first couple of movies. But this initial idea makes a lot of sense to me, and it reveals that a lot of ideas were definitely changed during Jurassic World Rebirth's super fast production. The Tyrannosaur design in question can be seen here, with a very old school look and feel that evokes something from Ray Harryhausen's classic works that I'm sure many of us have grown up with. In fact, in the movie Jurassic World Rebirth, there's actually a very brief moment during the scene where we meet Bobby in the Megalodon bar, where we see some dinosaur designs that look a lot like this. When the bartenders are watching the 1966 movie classic 1 million years BC on a small television. Now, in the film, during that specific scene, a bunch of guys actually fight an Allosaurus that has just invaded the small village of cavemen in the movie, and interestingly, one of the Allosaurs actually does kill someone by picking them up in its jaws after the guy tries to defend everyone from the dinosaur, which is kind of similar to what happens to Bobby in the finished film. Now, as far as the T-Rex design itself goes, look, I'm just going to go out and say exactly how I personally feel about this whole thing. This is awesome to me, and it actually harkens back to a lot of what we heard about the movie initially being a prequel to Jurassic Park set on one of the islands a couple of years ago, and how this island may have been Site B initially, or at the very least, the very first place Jurassic Park did genetic testing to create the dinosaurs for their theme parks. The design of the T-Rex here does look a lot like Gwangi, but it also reminds me of what we see here in this other Ray Harryhausen movie, which actually did make it into the final cut of Rebirth. Tired of your old chair? Need something a bit more comfortable and reliable? Try the Flexispot C7 Max. This is literally the greatest chair I've ever used, and it comes with a 3D adjustable headrest, lumbar support, 5D armrest, and the ability to lean back and recline whenever you want. The amount of things you can do with this chair are literally limitless when it comes to actually just relaxing, playing video games, editing videos, or just trying to have fun in your house. I mean, honestly, it's a really, really good product. My wife and I have been building in the new office, and this thing has been awesome for us in our daily work life. In fact, you can pretty much sit however you want in the chair and still feel comfortable and get some great support for your lumbar and sacrum, which is very nice. Also, the C7 Max comes with a 10-year warranty and a 30-day return-free policy, with direct replacement for damaged parts. Just use my code in the description, C750, to get $50 off and the best price. Also, check out the C5 chair and the new C7 Morpher. If you have more of a limited budget, look into the C5, which is a good build quality with basic functions for adjustments as well. Flexispot also just launched the C7 Morpher, which features a complete upgrade to the lumbar support and upper backrest, which is very nice. So if you're interested, you can search for the page Flexispot Ergonomic Office Chair with Footrest Chair for Back Pain, Back Support Chair C7 Morpher. Like I said before, we love this new chair, guys, and if you want to get the best price on one of these for yourself, just go to my link in the description down below and use the code C750 to get $50 off. Now, back to the video. Now, if we were introduced to this old school Tyrannosaurus design that was still living on the Isle of Saint Hubert after having been cloned around the 1980s or something, that would be seriously cool in my opinion. And can you imagine how weird and creepy it would look to have the level of detail ILM gives to the dinosaurs in these films to this old school Ray Harryhausen design? Personally, I love the idea, and it actually reminds me a lot of the original ideas they had for the first T-Rex in the 1993 movie, where it still had some of that frog DNA kind of morph its look into something more monstrous. I did a whole video on that years ago, guys, but also keep in mind that this dinosaur looking like this would have given us a ton of cool lore to go along with Jurassic World Rebirth that wouldn't have just tied it into the Jurassic World movies with the hybrid projects, but also given it added depth and meaning, because this is supposed to be like one of the very first Tyrannosaurus Rex designs ever made for Jurassic Park. Like, this is something Hammond created when he first was cloning T-Rexes. Now, I'm going to assume that we were supposed to see this T-Rex around the river raft sequence, which I'm sure a lot of people would have just preferred if we'd gotten the new, cooler, more Jurassic Park looking T-Rex design that we did in the finished movie. But don't forget that the film originally had more than one T-Rex in that scene. I've got a whole video on that topic alone if you're interested in learning more about that. But yeah, seeing a Jurassic Park T-Rex prototype cloned from the 1980s on the Isle of Saint Hubert sounds very cool to me. And if it was in a scene alongside this newer titan of a beast that we got, that would be even more awesome. I'm someone that grew up loving these old dinosaur movies, and Ray Harryhausen even wrote to Steven Spielberg himself about how impressed he was with the Lost World Jurassic Park when the movie came out. He wrote to him especially about how cool it was to see the raptors run through the long grass, and I think he asked him like, hey, how did you pull that off? That's super cool. So all this kind of stuff, it is 100% in my wheelhouse, man, and I am loving it. With that being said, all of this information really does reveal to us just how different the movie was supposed to be before a lot of stuff got changed. I remember one moment in an interview where David Koepp agreed with someone that it may have been a cool idea to call the movie Jurassic Park Rebirth while they were doing a little promo, and someone brought that up to him, and I think that's because this movie really does seem like its initial conception was supposed to be an old school Jurassic Park lore heavy adventure. If you really stop to think about the kind of movie they were initially marketing here, I think with this new T-Rex design that we got to see, it looked a lot more like this. On an old abandoned island, the laboratories of an InGen facility still stand frozen in time. The dinosaurs they'd bred there have been left alone for over 30 years. Some of them look a lot like the animals that we've seen in Jurassic Park movies from the past. Others are messed up mutants or incomplete animals that haven't been perfected just yet. This explains why the Distortus Rex and Mutodons were described the way they were by ILM and the marketing guys as mutants instead of hybrids all the time. The Mutodon really was just supposed to be a messed up prototype velociraptor. And the same thing with the Distortus Rex, which remember was going under the name Deformus Rex back then. So adding this more Valley of Gwangi Tyrannosaur into the mix would have sealed the deal for me. We were dealing with John Hammond's first dinosaur playground, and all of this genetics work here would have eventually gotten swapped out for a prequel to Jurassic World instead of a prequel to Jurassic Park at some point during Rebirth's development. At least that's what everything looks like to me. Now, in my own personal opinion, and look, this is just me speaking, I'd love to see them commit to this idea in the future. If Gareth Edwards is working on the sequel to Rebirth, show us this thing like tucked away somewhere in an abandoned lab or something. Go ahead, show me something with old school dinosaur designs in a video diary from John Hammond and Dr. Wu dated to something like 1986. Show the Triceratops and the T-Rex and other animals walking around looking the way they do, like in this old school, like retro look, while Dr. Wu is sitting down at a desk looking over documents sent over to him from Dr. Alan Grant, who was already being funded by Hammond and InGen. I mean, they say that in Jurassic Park. Set up some kind of product design progress into the dinosaurs that we see in the 1993 movie. Dr. Wu looks at Grant's papers and tweaks his inventions with these new hypotheses, and there you go. You've got like a little dinosaur evolution from the 1980s to the 1990s in the film series like canon and lore shown on screen. I personally love it. This is a design that I think is super fun. It's super cool. It's very lore heavy and also kind of real world to see how the science progressed. But hey guys, what do all of you you think about this abandoned concept? Do you think it would have been cool to see this old and outdated model of a T-Rex in Jurassic World Rebirth? Or are you happy that it wasn't included in the final release? I think it would have added a lot of lore to the films, and if it was shown alongside the newer T-Rex design, which a lot of people love, I think people would, really get a kick out of this. It's like a snapshot of how our scientific understanding of these animals has changed over time. But hey, whatever your own thoughts and opinions happen to be on the subject matter, I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below. Now, before I go, I want to thank everyone that's helped me build my channel over the years. I'd also like to thank every one of you guys who've watched my stuff. You've all been extremely cool to me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and hope that you'll consider subscribing. God bless you all. Christ is King. See you guys in the next video, and as always, take it easy.